Hello everyone. I'm Ted. And today we will discuss Chapter 11. Employee Counseling. And in this chapter we will be discussing Introduction, Performance Counseling, Objectives and Benefits, When, Where and How to Counsel, Effective Counseling, How to Help an Underachieving Employee. Let's start. Introduction. Introduction. Counseling is a dynamic relationship between two persons, a manager who is offering help, counselor, and an employee to whom such help is given, counselee. It may be formal or informal. Formal counseling is a planned and systematic way of offering help to subordinates by expert counselors. Informal counseling is concerned with day-to-day relationships between the manager and his subordinates where help is readily offered without any formal plan. Counseling involves a process, the aim of which is to help others to help themselves by making better choices and becoming better choosers of options. The counselor's repertoire of skills includes those forming an understanding relationship, as well as interventions, focused on helping clients change specific aspects of their feeling, thinking and acting. In a counseling relationship, the counselor and client work together to explore every aspect of the client's circumstances, enabling the individual to re-evaluate his or her experiences, capabilities, and potential. Counselors facilitate full and confidential expression of the client's feelings, without diverting any attention to their own feelings. The responsibility for change is placed with the client. This means that when changes are made, they are self-motivated, and therefore more likely to last and to be effective. Self-reliance is a central tenet of counseling. The counselor is perhaps the first person that the individual has met for a long time who truly listens without prejudice and whom he or she can trust completely. The counselor's job is to hold a mirror for the client so that can see the situation from a new perspective. The client is able to come out of his or her own emotions and is able to see and understand the harsh realities of an event or situation. The counselor makes the counselee feel comfortable, open his mind, share his feelings and come out of emotional side of the issue. The client should feel safe enough to open up completely and share everything with the counselor. To this end, the counselor should allow the client to speak freely, open up completely and voice all concerns fearlessly. He should not try to prejudge anything. More importantly, he is willing to see everything from the client's perspective and angle before offering help. In any case, the counselor should not argue, try to solve problems for the client and make the client a dependent or belittle client's concerns and begin to offer advice without understanding the situation. Moving next. Performance Counseling. Performance Counseling. Performance counseling involves helping an employee understand his own performance, find where he stands in relation to others and identify ways to improve his skills and performance. It focuses, essentially, on the analysis of performance of the job and identification of training needs for further improvement. Moving next. Objectives and Benefits. Objectives. Counseling helps a person overcome emotional problems and weaknesses relating to performance. It involves the following. Helps him realize his full potential. Helps him understand his strengths and weaknesses. Gains insight into his behavior and analyze the dynamics of such behavior. Helps him understand the work environment better. Provides an empathic climate where he can discuss his tensions, conflicts, concerns, and problems. Increases his personal and interpersonal effectiveness through prompt feedback about his behavior. Prepares action plans for improving his behavior and performance. Benefits. Counseling offers the following benefits to the counselee. He learns to respond and adjust more positively to people and situations. He is able to improve his personal effectiveness. He is able to clear the mind of emotional irritants, overcome his personal weaknesses and work more effectively. He feels more relaxed when he is able to share his concerns and problems with a trusted friend, the counselor who assures confidentiality and extends a helping hand readily. Moving next. Process of counseling, sequential steps. Process of counseling, sequential steps. The counseling process has 3 phases: rapport building, exploration, and action planning. These are discussed below. Rapport building. Initially, the counselor manager should level himself with his employee and tune himself to his orientations. General opening rituals like offering a chair, closing the door to indicate privacy, asking the secretary not to disturb are all important in demonstrating the manager's genuine interest in employees' problems. The counselor must listen to the feelings and concerns of the employed carefully and attentively. Leaning forward and eye contact are important signs of active listening. The employee must feel that he is wanted and the counselor is interested in him genuinely. Exploration. Besides active listening, the counselor should help the employee find his own weaknesses and problems through open and exploring questions. He should be encouraged to open up fully and talk more on the problem. This would enable both parties to uncover various dimensions of the problem clearly. Once the key issue is identified, such as inability to get along with colleagues, not being promoted despite hard work, lack of appreciation from boss, it should be diagnosed thoroughly. Open questions like, why do people pick arguments with you? On what occasions did you try to get ahead in the race? Who are coming in your way and why, may help the employee visualize the problem from different angles. The whole exercise is meant to generate several alternative causes of a problem. Action planning. Counseling should finally help the employee find alternative ways of resolving a problem. The list of alternatives could be generated after 2 or 3 brainstorming sessions. The merits and limitations of each course of action could also be identified and the best course of action picked up, keeping the background factors, such as boss, colleagues, work-related issues, and competitive pressures, in mind. The employee should be encouraged to self-monitor the action plan without seeking further help from the counselor. The counseling sessions could be monitored and reviewed at regular intervals later on. Moving next. When to counsel and who should counsel. When to counsel and who should counsel. In most cases, formal counseling is a matter of judgment. However, it is not easy to move from providing informal comments on a person's work to a more formal approach. However, when you do decide to take that step, make sure that you begin documenting the steps you are taking to address the situation. By intervening at an early stage, you can often prevent a problem escalating and requiring more serious and possibly disruptive action further down the track. If you encourage a free flow of information in the workplace and open, two-way communication is the norm, it will be easier for you to identify performance problems when and if they do arise, and deal with them promptly. A good management style will not eliminate performance problems, but good workplace communication should help you to identify some problems early, so you can do something about them. Usually, it is the manager who is supposed to handle formal counseling sessions, but where performance is affected by factors outside the workplace, such as a problem with drugs or alcohol, it is better to refer the issue to a staff counselor or a counselor from outside. This, however, does not mean that the manager should back away from the problem. You should continue to focus on ways to improve the counselee's performance at work, but should refrain from solving issues that are somewhat personal and private. Praise in public and reprimand in private is always a good way of dealing with employees. Of course, when people do not like to be singled out for praise on a public platform, you can restrain yourself. Better to let people know in advance about their excellent performance and bring it to their notice that you are going to mention the same in the next meeting. Where formal counseling is to be undertaken, it must be conducted in a place free from noise and distractions. A neutral, quiet, and private place is to be preferred in place of your own office, where you get a knock on the door every minute. Where possible, a suitable time for the discussion should be agreed in advance and sufficient notice given to allow both yourself and the staff member to prepare adequately. While it is desirable for a person to be given sufficient notice to prepare for a counseling session, there may be occasions when you decide that a person's behavior warrants immediate action, particularly when the behavior is causing disruption to other staff. A counseling discussion usually involves a manager or supervisor and a staff member, but in some situations you may find that a person requests the presence of a support person or independent observer. You may also wish to have an observer present. A person or persons attending a session in this capacity would not normally take part in the discussion, and their presence and role should be clarified before the session commences. Moving next. Effective counseling. Effective counseling. Counseling is an art. It requires serious effort on part of the counselee to learn from each situation and stand on his own. The counselor is there to lend a helping hand, clarify things, enable the counselee look at the picture himself clearly, show the alternative paths and suggest action plans for improvement. The process is built around mutuality and trust, the belief that each person has enough to contribute. Both parties should be willing to invest their time and energies on the following things. Counselee, the subordinate must open up before the counselor manager fully and share his problems, feelings, concerns without any reservation/hesitation. As far as possible, he must confine himself to issues relating to job performance. He needs to take responsibility for his behavior and begin to look for ways to rectify the problems. He should be willing to develop on his own after carefully translating the suggestions given by the counselor into an action plan. After all, a counselor is there to help, not carry a poor performer forever. Appraisal process. Counselor. Initially, the counselor should try to document specific job behaviors like late coming, absenteeism, poor quality, peer group conflicts in terms of dates, times and what happened. He should encourage the subordinate to come out with his own unique version of what has happened. Instead of pointing an accusing finger against the employee, he should help the employee find where things have gone wrong. After identifying the key issues, he should help the subordinate develop alternative ways of resolving the issue. Be specific as to what the employee is expected to do, when it is expected, and what resources you are willing to commit to assist. Once the plan is ready, evaluate the progress constantly and reinforce good efforts to the extent possible. Climate. Both parties must focus on work-related goals and performance behaviors. They should discuss issues objectively, fairly, and equitably. The discussions should flourish in an atmosphere of mutual trust, cooperation, and understanding. Moving next. How to help an underachieving employee. How to help an underachieving employee. Employee underachievement reduces productivity, profit, and morale in the workplace. 1 in 10 employees is an underachiever. Often, managers are unsure about how to address the problem. With a few basic corrective actions, you can manage the problem and get your employees back on the right track. Ask the employee to list his job duties. Sometimes an employee truly does not understand job expectations. Correct any misunderstandings to manage the problem. Analyze skills and abilities. Manage deficiencies with employee development in the form of additional training and education. Upgrade resources. Replace inadequate equipment and tools. They contribute to underachievement. Inquire about personal distractions. Examples can include divorce, child care issues, or the death of a loved one. Reasonable time off to address problems at home is sometimes the answer to underachievement. Eliminate workplace disruptions. The most common include coworker, email, and phone call interruptions. Reposition other employees or objects that contribute to underachievement. Set short-term objectives. Reword broad goals into several smaller, manageable acts. Include target dates for completion. Monitor achievement. Meet the employee on a frequent basis between annual performance appraisals. Reward progress with verbal and written praise. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. This video is brought to you by Bookstune. Like this video to encourage us. Share this video to spread the knowledge. And subscribe to this channel for latest update.